In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Nikon Z6 for low light and nightscape photos. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? So we're in the middle of winter. The days are super short, nights are long. So I figured what better time to do a low light review on the Nikon Z6. So let's jump into that, but first please leave a thumbs up on the video because it really helps out the channel. Alright, so my favorite kinds of photos to take are long exposure photos. You know, whether I'm putting an ND filter on to mimic low light, or going out and taking creative pictures of the moon, or most notably, nightscape photos of the Milky Way. So I need a camera that's capable of good high ISO, good handling in low light, and capable of, high ISO photos that I can print. So let's see how the Nikon Z6 is stacked up for me. One great feature on the Nikon Z6 is the live view. I'm able to see what I get before I actually take the photo. And you might say, why not just take the picture and look at it? Well, the difference is with nightscape photos is you're taking like 20 to 30 second exposures, so it takes quite a while just to take a picture and then look at it. It also allows me to put ND filters on and then crank up the ISO and focus with an ND filter already on. When I had my Nikon D7200, I had to take the filter off of it, focus, switch to manual focus, put the filter back on without moving the camera, and then take my photo. So that was kind of a little bit of a pain. So it's nice with that live view to be able to focus right through the ND filter. The high ISO performance of the camera I've talked about in previous videos, so I'll keep it pretty brief, but I've taken shots all the way up from, for nightscapes, 1000 ISO all the way up to 12,800 ISO, and it's handled it pretty well up until then. I haven't pushed it too much further up from there. I haven't really needed to, so. And when I took that 12,800 shot, that was on the kit lens, so I was shooting that at f4. So you should really be using a f2.8 lens when doing nightscapes, but it is capable of shooting at f4. And I think with that high ISO, that's really where the Nikon Z6 sets itself apart from the Z7. 45 megapixels will show quite a bit more noise than the 24 megapixels of the Z6. And while we're on the subject of noise, my Nikon D7200, I used to always use the long exposure noise reduction, where say you're taking a 20-second exposure, after that shutter stops, it'll take a black frame of the same exposure you just took and go through and take the noise. It's really time consuming, and I have not seen much of a difference, so I do not use that anymore. A little bit of one of my gripes is the low light autofocus could be a little better on it. When you press it down to focus, it hunts a little bit in low light, and I feel like it could be better, but I'm so used to switching to manual focus anyway and manually focusing for nightscapes that it doesn't bother me too much. So to combat manual focus, the Nikon Z6 has this great feature called focus peaking, where when you're in manual focus and you adjust the focus ring, it'll show red marks, over the place that's in focus. Out of focus, it'll show no red. And you can go in the settings and change the color. The red works really well for me. So when you're shooting the, say the moon, for example, you can, right on live view, you can zoom right into that moon, and in manual focus, adjust that focus ring. It'll show little red streaks across the moon when it's in focus. So that's a great way to get focused on infinity. Some lenses have an infinity mark on them, but I never trust them. More than likely pretty inaccurate. So always adjust manually when trying to focus to infinity in low light. As far as lenses I use on the Z6 for nightscapes, right now I'm using the 14 to 24 f2.8, and that's the F mount that I adapt with the FTZ adapter. I like using that just because it's wide and fast, but I can get similar shots with the kit lens that I've talked about in a previous video at f4. It's just that's a 24 to 70. 24 millimeters on a full frame isn't really wide enough for nightscapes for me personally. If it works for you, great. What I'm trying to get at is the Nikon Z6 can shoot the Milky Way at f4. Something better out right now that's native to the Z6 is the 14-30. But that's also an f4, but it's wider. So that lens does intrigue me. I shoot a lot at sunrise and sunset, and that lens allows screw-in filters at 14mm, which is pretty impressive for that wide. But something I'm super excited about, as you can see on the Nikon S lens roadmap, is sometime in this coming year, 2020, they're coming out with the lens I'm using right now, 14-24mm f2.8 with a Z mount. Probably going to be pricey, but I'm going to be very tempted to get that lens, and then I'll sell this one off, so I can have basically this lens that's native to the Z6. You know, with this lens right now, the F mount is super small compared to the Z mount, so probably going to be exceptionally good, but have a pretty hefty price tag. But stay tuned for that, because when that comes out, I'm more than likely going to buy that, and I'm going to be doing a review on that. I don't think Nikon has given an exact date. If they have, please comment and let me know. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. Do you have a Z6? Let me know your comments below of what you think. Any suggestions for new videos, let me know. I've always got new ones coming out, new ideas. Keep it locked in here. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.